Straight ahead on CCX News, it's turning out to be one of the most expensive storms in Minnesota history.
And we've had multiple years where we've had large losses, and this has meant that our homeowners insurance premiums have been going up a lot.
Homeowners may be paying for a June hailstorm for years to come. Plus, getting away on vacation without letting too much money slip away. And with blankets in place, it's time for music and a lot of it.
It's a big event, yeah. People just kind of spread out all over and enjoy the evening.
CCX News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Damage from the June 11th hailstorm that pummeled parts of Brooklyn Park is now nearing the $1 billion mark.
It is one of the more expensive Minnesota storms in recent history, and it'll likely affect how much we all pay for home insurance.
You guys are up there working on the roof. It's a full roof replacement, some siding, some gutters, some windows, restaining the deck.
Nick Skradsky sees work when he looks at this Brooklyn Park neighborhood off Noble Parkway.
The hail and high winds, anytime you get that wind back in it, it's gonna, bust holes in the vinyl and damage the roof and the integrity of it.
Nearly 1 month after high winds and large hail blanketed parts of Brooklyn Park, Blaine, and Coon Rapids, what's left behind is punched out siding, damaged shingles, and broken windows and screens. While thousands of property claims are expected to come in, it's already one of the state's most expensive storms, with an estimated damage total of more than $830 million.
You have up to 2 years from the time that the claim happens that you have to file the claim, and in that time, and even when the contractors are doing the work, they'll discover more damage, and so it usually goes beyond the estimate. So this eventually could end up being a $1 billion storm.
Whether or not your house was hit by the storm, we will all pay for it with increased pressure on insurance premiums. It's a concerning trend as the number and severity of storms rises in Minnesota.
In 1998, we had $1.5 billion in storm losses altogether in 1998. That was more than the previous 40 years combined.
Since then, the average annual homeowners insurance premium in Minnesota has risen from $350 a year to more than $1,200.
The storms themselves are just a lot more intense than they used to be, and that means your home gets damaged more.
Nick Skradsky estimates the roofing and siding work at this Brooklyn Park home will cost between $20,000 and $30,000 alone. He knows his contract company could be repairing damage from this storm for a couple of years.
There's a lot that needs to be done.
A major hailstorm that hit the whole metro area in May of 1998 remains the state's most expensive storm in terms of damage totals.
State Representative Deborah Hilstrom of Brooklyn Center has announced plans to run for Minnesota Attorney General. Hilstrom says she will run only if current Attorney General Lori Swanson does not run for re-election. Hilstrom was elected to the House in 2000 and says she's always focused on consumer protection issues. She's been a prosecutor for Anoka County for 7 years. And a former lawmaker from Golden Valley has also announced plans to run for Attorney General. Ryan Winkler made his plans known last November. That's a full 2 years before the election. He also said he would only run if Swanson does not. A DFL lawmaker from St. Paul is also running. Now, Golden Valley City Councilman Andy Snope says he is not running for re-election. In a letter to the editor in the Sun Post, Snope says he's enjoyed working on the council but will spend more time with his family and on a demanding career. Snope was elected 4 years ago. There are 2 council seats up for election in Golden Valley this November. The other is Larry Faunist, who says he will run for re-election.
A St. Paul man accused in the shooting death of another man in Robbinsdale had his first court appearance this afternoon. 32-year-old Zitty Taylor is charged with second-degree murder in the June 19th shooting death of Jody Fry. According to the criminal complaint, Fry was sitting in his car in a driveway near 42nd and Welcome Avenues after visiting for Father's Day. A child told police she saw Taylor walk to his car, get a gun, and fire 7 times into the victim's vehicle. A woman driving by also identified Taylor. Taylor was arrested 11 days later by U.S. Marshals and the Hennepin County Violent Offender Task Force.
Despite some anxiety leading up to the start of Sunday liquor sales in Minnesota, employees at an Osseo liquor store said things went well on their first Sunday. Premier Wines and Spirits in Osseo is an independent store that had been opposed to the idea of Sunday sales in the past, yet owners say revenue this past Sunday was equal to that of a good Thursday or a slow Saturday. They admit that the holiday weekend and the novelty of buying on Sunday likely contributed to the busy day, but they're hopeful for what the future holds.
I think at least for the next month or so, it's going to be extra sales for us, so we should embrace it. Little extra revenue. I think in the next coming months, it'll probably draw from other days and it'll level out, but it will always be a little bit more sales.
Going forward, owners say they'll have to adjust their stocking strategies as more customers will likely come in to buy beer on a Sunday versus going to a sports bar. Well, thousands of people are looking forward to a big night of live music at the Hildy Performance Center.
The annual Music in Plymouth event is this evening, and our reporter Eric Nelson is there with a preview of what's coming up. Hi, Eric.
They'll be in boxes that won't see you.
Well, Alex and Mike, behind me is the iconic Hildy Performance Center, and in a couple of hours this place is going to be jamming. This is the 45th year for this event, and the Hildy has become a go-to destination. They expect between 14 and 15,000 people to turn out for multiple concerts at this spectacular venue.
It's a big event, yeah. People just kind of spread out all over and enjoy the evening.
Welcome to Tarp Town.
This is our 4th of July.
Awesome. People began arriving at the Hildy Performance Center at 7 a.m. this morning.
We thought it was going to rain harder, so we were going to wait, and look what happened while we were waiting.
To claim their coveted piece of the turf for tonight's 3 concerts.
I've been a Plymouth resident all my life, so I can remember 30, 40 years ago being here, and we just do it every year. So it's a great tradition.
The Grammy Award-winning Okie Dokie Brothers, R Factor, and the Minnesota Orchestra will perform at the Hildy. And then there will be a fireworks show choreographed to music.
Plymouth is so amazingly lucky to have this as a resource and a space, and you know, what the city has done with this park over the last several years, it's just beautiful.
This free event has been a summer staple in Plymouth since 1972 and is made possible because of many volunteer hours.
They fundraise all year long. It's a grassroots effort of businesses and community members throughout the community.
Oh, very blessed, yeah, to be in Plymouth and to have the Minnesota Orchestra here every year is just a real treat.
David Jackson has been to plenty of these concerts and has seen major changes.
For the most part, the landscape is completely different here, the way they've redone the park and everything. And it used to be a lot closer to the building in a smaller bowl, and boy, I bet you maybe a fourth of the people were here as attended now, so it's changed quite a bit.
The event is also kid-centric.
I like the food trucks. You know, we don't get to have those a lot in Plymouth, so it's nice to have those.
Yeah, me too.
It promises to be a magical night in Plymouth, under the moon and the stars. Now, the seeds for this event were planted in the 1970s by Kirk Carlson and former Plymouth Mayor Al Hildy Jr. Their vision was to create a gathering spot for city residents to come together. Mike and Alex, I would say it's mission accomplished. Reporting live in Plymouth, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Eric. It's kind of like a second shot at the 4th of July there tonight, isn't it?
That's a good point.
Very
exactly. Still ahead, a local expert tells us how thinking ahead about your summer vacation can save you money and keep you out of debt.
Plus, get set for bull riding and bronc busting fun at this week's Hamel Rodeo.
But first, another humid day in the 90s on Thursday. Your AccuWeather forecast is coming up next. Summer is a special time for family vacations, but it can also get expensive. Nearly half of Americans use credit cards and accumulate debt while they travel.
Reporter Shannon Slatton explains in today's Money Savers how to avoid being part of that statistic.
If you are thinking about taking off on a fun vacation, instead of browsing where you want to go, think instead about how to save up for your trip.
First thing that I recommend is create a budget or a daily allowance. And so oftentimes when people go on vacation, for whatever reason, our healthy eating goes out the window, our exercise goes out the window, and then being wise with our money goes out the window.
Financial professional Trey Peterson at Principal Preservation Services in Wayzata says create a daily budget amount and use an envelope system filled with cash to stay in your budget.
You have 4 or 5 envelopes where you've got grocery money, you've got entertainment money, you've got eating out, that you take on vacation. So if you and your spouse have decided this vacation is going to be a $2,000 vacation, bring $2,000 in cash in those different envelopes and be wise with how you spend it.
Peterson says the next step is cutting back on hotel costs, which is usually one of the biggest expenses of the trip. Consider hotel alternatives like bidding for a hotel or
consider staying in a home. Look at Airbnb, look at VRBO. Oftentimes you can pay 30 to 50% less. Instead of staying in a hotel, you have a nice home.
Peterson says go to the internet to research inexpensive or low-cost activities.
Spend some time before your vacation planning things out. Say, hey, look, we want to go to this museum sometime while we're in New York. On these days, it's $20 a person, but on Tuesdays, it's free.
And finally, when it comes to souvenirs, leave the t-shirts and keychains in the store and opt for photos instead.
So instead of buying expensive souvenirs, take a picture by the Statue of Liberty and make that your desktop screenshot. You're going to have that a lot longer, it's going to be a lot better memory, and it's free.
For Money Saver, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
Another idea to consider to stay within your budget is to bring along a soft-sided cooler and use it to carry soft drinks and food to help defray the high costs of meals. Up next, we'll preview one of the colorful events in Robbinsdale's Whiz Bang days.
But first, local teams Wayzata and Osseo meet up for a 4th of July American Legion baseball title. John Jacobson is in next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The 4th of July and baseball go well together. Teams from our northwest suburbs had won 6 of the past 7 Delano 4th of July American Legion tournament titles coming into this year's event. We start with first round action as defending champion Wayzata met Eagan. Wayzata's Chad Musser tags it over the outfielders in deep right field here. Cam Keenan scores for a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first. It's a triple for Musser. And they blow it open in the second. Nick King lines it hard down the left field line. Jack Rothstein trots home to make it 2-0. And Wayzata's just getting started in the inning. Musser strokes a base hit to right field. 2 more runs come home to stretch the lead out to 5-0. Rothstein delivers a hit down the line to right to score 2 more runs. Wayzata gets 10 runs in the second inning. And they go on to win 13-0 in 5 innings over Eagan. Also in first round play, Osseo meeting Hopkins, top of the first. Osseo third baseman Eric Lyons, nice stop, throws across to A.J. Valeri at first for the out, retiring the Flyers' Morgan Holmes. Bottom of the first, Osseo gets on the board. Jake Contreras laces a single to center field. Lyons comes in to score. The other runners hold, and it's 1-0. Next up for post 172 is John Bezdacek, and he singles up the middle. This hit scores 2. Adam Landers is in, and Matt Bezdacek slides in safely behind him as Osseo plates 3 runs in the first inning to take the lead for good. That's the way the score stays. John Bezdacek throws a gem in this game. He gets Wyatt Nelson to fly out to Landers in right field to end it. It's a shutout for Osseo. They beat Hopkins 3-0. Osseo also beat Providence Academy in pool play. Osseo and Wayzata won their pools and both scored semifinal wins Tuesday to advance to the championship game. Osseo shooting for its 6th title since 2008. Wayzata looking for its 3rd. Top of the first, Will Oberg with a ground ball just fair, scoring Cam Keenan. Wayzata is on the board. Same inning, bases loaded. Jack Rothstein powers a low pitch to the gap in right center. Bobby Isbell, Oberg, and Chad Musser all score for a 4-0 Wayzata lead. We go to the 6th inning. Osseo rallies. A.J. Valeri comes home on the Wayzata error, cutting the lead to 5-3. But Wayzata has a big bottom half of the 6th. Nick Kay singles through the hole to plate Musser. Kay moves around and then comes home on a base hit by Keenan. Wayzata scores 6 runs on the frame. They go on to win the game 11-3, and they win the Delano tournament for the 3rd time in the past 4 seasons. Well, just after the 4th of July, it's time for the fireworks of the rodeo in the Northwest Metro. Jay Wilcox caught up with Shorty Dorweiler from the Hamel Rodeo.
Thanks, John. It's an early July highlight. Once again, the Hamel Rodeo 37th edition, and we're joined by Shorty Dorweiler. And Shorty, I know a lot of work going into it this week. You're kind of buttoning up all the last details here, and how excited are you for the rodeo week?
Well, we're really excited. As you can see, we've been working, around the clock. Our guys get an average of about an hour and a half of sleep a night for the last 3 weeks. But yeah, we're pretty much ready to go.
Tell me a little bit about this year, what you have coming in as far as livestock, and I know that's an important part of it that maybe the general public kind of overlooks a little bit.
It is, and we always have a lot of contestants. This year we set a record for contestants. We've got 541 contestants. They come from 35 states and several provinces in Canada.
Tell me about Thursday. I know it's a little bit of a special thing for Thursday night, the Tough Enough to Wear Pink night. How did that get started, and how has that gone?
Actually, it was a program the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association kind of tied into, and it raises money for breast cancer awareness, like the Susan B. Komen, etc. And that's always Thursday night here at Hamel, and it's a good deal.
And you're raising a lot of money for local service organizations with this rodeo also, right?
Well, this is a nonprofit organization. We have no paid staff. Everybody's volunteers. And yes, over the 36 previous years, we've raised $1.8 million for the organizations. It's the Lions Club, the VFW, American Legion, and the Volunteer Fire Department. I mean, it's a great deal.
Shorty, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for all the work you do for the rodeo.
Thank you, and thanks for coming out.
Shorty Dorweiler, the Hamel Rodeo getting started Thursday and running through Sunday here in Hamel. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Jay. Here's the schedule for the rodeo. There are night performances at 7:30 Thursday through Sunday, with a Saturday afternoon family matinee at 1 o'clock. Tickets are available online or at the gate at the Corcoran Lions Park. And that's it for sports. Mike and Alex, back to you.
All right, John, thank you, and we'll be right back.
And finally, the 4th of July is barely over, and already it is time for Whiz Bang Days in Robbinsdale.
The annual summer celebration starts Thursday and runs through Sunday. The event opens with a big church garage sale. Field of Dreams is showing for free in the Public Safety Building. And the Lions Club is grilling outdoors. They call it Bistro on Broadway. Thursday afternoon, there's also the Bocce Ball kickoff party at Nona Rosa's. A colorful part of Whiz Bang Days is the 51st annual flower show put on by the Robbinsdale Diggers Gardening Club. That takes place July 6th through the 7th at the Copperfield Hill Assisted Living Facility. People can bring their favorite cut flowers, plants, crafts, and photographs to be judged. Folks can also check out educational gardening displays. You don't have to be a member of the Diggers Gardening Club to participate in the flower show. A lot of fun there. That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
We will see you back here again Thursday starting at 4 o'clock.